On our wedding day, Liam tied me to a telephone pole for 5 hours. Egged on by Olivia Amelia. It's an old local tradition. Tied to a telephone pole overnight to drive away bad luck. So we can lock in our happiness. Before I could say a word, Liam grabbed her hand and looked at Olivia with nothing but tenderness in his eyes. Don't worry, it's just a custom, Olivia said to Liam. The sun is too strong. Let's go back inside. Liam walked Olivia back to the bridal suite, leaving me alone there until late at night. The sun gave me a splitting headache, and I wasn't untied until evening. Standing outside the bridal suite door, I heard Olivia say timidly to Liam, Liam, after this lesson, Amelia won't target me anymore, right? We're literally brother and sister, but she acts like there's something going on between us. Liam's voice was gentle. Yeah, I'm sure Amelia will understand now that you're number one in my heart, and she's just second. Liam opened the door and saw me standing outside. His eyebrows twitched. I forced a thin smile. The maid just untied me. Liam looked briefly guilty, then quickly suppressed the feeling. I was about to step inside when Liam grabbed my arm. I knew he was afraid I'd overheard their conversation, and would take it out on Olivia. I took a deep breath. I'm exhausted. I need to sleep. Liam studied me carefully, confirming I wasn't about to make a scene, then said casually, let Olivia have the master bedroom tonight. She likes the big bed. On our wedding night, he was willing to give up the bridal suite for Olivia. I'd lost count of how many times this had happened. On my birthday, he bought Olivia's favorite mango cake and said, Olivia loves it. You'll like it too, right? For our wedding photos, I'd clearly wanted a western white gown, but one comment from Olivia, I want to wear a white bridesmaid dress and don't want to match you. And he'd immediately booked a traditional Chinese wedding dress instead. Even for our honeymoon destination. He'd said, Olivia wants to go to Napa Valley. Why don't we all go together? But there was no point in continuing this marriage anymore. Let him have it. No need to make a fuss. I clenched my phone until my knuckles turned white. Liam, I want to stay at a hotel. He frowned. Staying at a hotel on our first night? What kind of behavior is that? What are you throwing a fit about now? A fit? I gave up the bridal suite. And you still think I'm not being considerate enough? He paused, then looked away. She's my sister. Isn't it only right that I take care of her? Don't be difficult right now. Being reasonable? I let out a bitter laugh and picked up my phone to leave. I've been reasonable for years. I'm done being reasonable. Amelia, it's not safe for a girl out alone at midnight. Stop being dramatic. Staying at a hotel on your wedding night is just improper. I turned back to him and said each word deliberately. Liam, I'm going to a hotel. Either that or Olivia sleeps in the guest room. Liam, this red bedsheet is making me dizzy. Isn't there a yellow SpongeBob sheet set in the closet? The one you bought last time. I've been wanting to sleep on that. Olivia's voice rang out, and Liam headed into the master bedroom, his tone indulgent. Okay, I'll get it for you. I saw where his priorities lay. I was about to walk out when Liam ran over. Olivia's only staying one night. I bought you that custom necklace you liked. It's in the guest room. You'll love it. Go take a look and stop being upset. I went to the guest room and saw the blue diamond necklace. I'd been eyeing it for ages, and Liam had only promised to give it to me when we got married. Meanwhile, laughter and playful shouts kept coming from the master bedroom. Olivia's coaxing voice drifted from the master bedroom. Liam, you lost. We agreed. The loser has to bark like a dog 3 times. Liam laughed. You cheated. You were slow on purpose just now. I don't care. I don't care. Are you going to bark or not? If not, I'm going to tickle you. Woof woof woof. There. Happy now? You little terror. Huh. Again. This time I'm going to beat you 20 rounds in a row. Big talk. Bring it on like I'm scared of you. Laughter. Clapping and stomping flooded in through the doorway like a tide, drowning out the silence of the guest room. Liam played with Olivia all night long. I squeezed my eyes shut, but couldn't sleep. Tears streamed down my face. When I woke up again, I was still alone in the room. I picked up my phone and sent a message in the family group chat. I want a divorce. The group chat exploded. Notification pings fired off one after another. Before I could even read the flood of messages. What's going on? Amelia, don't be impulsive. The guest room door was flung open. Liam stood in the doorway, his face livid. Amelia, what kind of tantrum is this? Sending a divorce message? Olivia peeked out from behind him, her eyes red, looking utterly wronged. Amelia, how could you make such a big decision without saying anything? What did Liam do wrong that you want to divorce him? Liam strode over to me, barely containing his anger, and shoved his phone in my face. Say in the group right now that you sent it by mistake, that you were joking with a friend. I smiled. I just don't want this marriage anymore. What's wrong with wanting a divorce? Olivia's face went pale. Amelia, how could you? What do you take Liam for? You can't just say divorce like that. Quick, recall the message. It's been over 2 minutes. Can't recall it. I gave a cold laugh. Right after that, Liam's phone rang. It was his parents. He answered and his mother's shrill voice came through. Liam, what's going on with Amelia? Did you do something to make her misunderstand? Then my phone rang too. It was my mom. Amelia, are you crazy demanding a divorce on your wedding night? Do you have any idea how many people are laughing at our family? Liam is the man your father and I approved of. If you want to end this, you need our permission first. After she hung up, before I could even put my phone down, Liam said coldly, Amelia, because of one little stunt, you've dragged us all into this mess. He paused, his voice growing heavier. My parents and your parents just messaged. They're on their way over. 40 minutes later, both families were sitting in the living room. Olivia immediately rushed over and linked arms with Liam's mother, her voice soft and sweet. Auntie Amelia's just upset because we had a little conflict. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Liam and I have been trying to talk her down, but she won't listen. Please, you talk some sense into her. My mom shot me a glare, then turned to Liam's parents apologetically. We're so sorry. Amelia's been spoiled since she was little. She doesn't think before she acts. Please don't take it personally. Liam's father snorted. Divorce on the first day of marriage. If this gets out, where does that leave the Hayes family's reputation? Are you doing this on purpose to embarrass everyone? I watched them talk over each other as if I were the villain here. The divorce is definitely happening. Olivia and Liam are so inseparable. They wanted to share my bridal suite on our wedding night. Why don't they just get married instead? Olivia's eyes went wide, all color draining from her face. Sister-in-law. How could you say that? Liam's gaze cut into me like a knife. Amelia. What are you talking about? Olivia is my sister. If you're jealous, don't be ridiculous about it, okay? How can your mind be so filthy? He'd always been like this, shielding Olivia. In elementary school, when Olivia fell, Liam had shoved me aside, rushed to help her up, and snapped at me over his shoulder. Why weren't you watching her? When Olivia lost her homework, he'd turned the entire classroom upside down looking for it. When Olivia was thirsty, he'd run halfway across the school just to buy her favorite drink. He was like a knight in front of Olivia, protecting her, utterly gentle. But in front of me, he was a judge, every word critical, every sentence a blade. Olivia's eyes welled up instantly, as if she'd made some decision. If I'm the one ruining your relationship with Liam, I'll leave right now. I'll never show my face in front of him again. The moment she turned around, Liam grabbed her wrist and pulled her back. He turned to me, his eyes filled with disappointment and rage. Amelia, Olivia, is my adopted sister. You really have to drive her away like this. Who do you think you are? Something indescribable welled up in my chest. Not bitterness, not pain, just an empty coldness. Who do I think I am? Liam, let me ask you. When you tied me to a telephone pole all afternoon on our wedding day for her sake, who was I then on our wedding night? When you made me give up the master bedroom to your adopted sister, who was I? When you spent the entire night in a room with your adopted sister, who was I supposed to be? Liam was momentarily speechless. Why do you have to harp on these things and be so aggressive? Tying you to the pole was a tradition. Giving up the master bedroom was because Olivia can't sleep in a small bed. As her brother and sister-in-law, shouldn't we accommodate her? I laughed coldly. Even now you're still making excuses. Liam, I don't want you anymore. Liam froze, then let go of Olivia's hand and gave a cold laugh, his eyes filled with contempt. Fine, then get out of my bridal suite right now. You're not welcome here. He was convinced I couldn't live without him. After all, I'd been following him around since we were kids. Both sets of parents sat on the couch, exchanging awkward glances. My mom opened her mouth to say something, but my dad put his hand on hers. Liam's parents exchanged a look and ultimately chose silence. I looked down and slowly slipped the ring off my ring finger, placing it on the coffee table. I picked up my bag from the couch. Amelia, if you walk out that door now, whatever we have ends here. Liam's face was cold, full of disdain. Begging me won't help after that. You love me so much. Do you dare walk out? I didn't look back. I turned the doorknob and stormed out. Amelia, don't do this. Everyone's just upset. I'll leave. Okay, I'll go. I heard Liam pull her back behind me. She's being unreasonable. Why bother with her? You stay right here. I leaned against the door, closed my eyes, and a single tear finally slid down my cheek. From inside the suite, Liam's mother's voice drifted faintly. That girl is so immature. Maybe it's good for her to reflect on her behavior. Liam's father chimed in. Olivia and Liam are just brother and sister looking out for each other. Why does she have to be so stubborn about it? My mom's voice followed, full of apology. We're so sorry I didn't raise my daughter right. I wiped my tears and walked step by step toward the elevator. As soon as my parents left Liam's suite, they called me. Amelia, what on earth are you doing? Liam is such a good man. Don't ruin your happiness when you're so close. That's right. And Olivia, you've been friends for years. Think clearly. Don't do something you'll regret. I held the phone, watching the stream of car headlights below, and said flatly, I did nothing wrong. I won't apologize. You, my father, took a deep breath. Tomorrow, Liam's parents are taking us out to dinner to smooth things over. Don't be selfish. I'm not going. You have to go. I took a deep breath. Actually, it might be better to say everything face to face. Fine. The next day, in the private dining room at the restaurant, Liam sat at the head of the table. The moment I pushed open the door, I caught a glimpse of someone walking toward us from the end of the hallway. Olivia. She was barefaced, her eyes slightly red. She walked up to me, bowed slightly, and said through tears, Amelia, I'm sorry. Yesterday was all my fault. If it weren't for me, you and Liam wouldn't be fighting like this. Amelia, I know you're hurting. You can hit me or yell at me. Really, just don't be mad at Liam. You've come so far together. I feel so guilty that you're fighting because of me. The moment she finished, everyone in the room turned to look at me. Liam's parents exchanged a glance and spoke first. Amelia, Olivia has said her piece. Be the bigger person and let this go. Come sit down. Let's have a nice family dinner. My father stood up, walked over to me with a glass of wine, and said quietly, Enough. Toast them and apologize to your elders. I looked at the glass he offered but didn't take it. I'll toast. On one condition, Olivia gets out of the Hayes family, cuts all ties with Liam, and they never see each other again. The entire room drew a collective breath. Liam shot to his feet, his voice rising. Amelia, you're ruthless. Thank God I didn't really marry you. That was a lucky escape. Both sets of parents' faces turned grim in an instant. Liam didn't stop. He unlocked his phone and started typing in the family group chat. Amelia wants a divorce. You all don't mind if Olivia and I have a wedding, right? Olivia is so much better. Getting a marriage license with her wouldn't be bad at all. Olivia, as your adopted sister, understands you better and can take better care of you. Notification pings rang out one after another. I didn't even glance at his phone. I left the restaurant. A message arrived on Liam's phone. Mr. Hayes, this is Attorney Reed. I'm representing Amelia in her divorce. In the office, Liam sat across from me, fingers interlaced on the desk. His tone was unusually soft. Amelia, think again about that divorce agreement. No need to think again. I pushed the divorce agreement across the table to him. I've already signed it. Liam's expression shifted. His hand, reaching for the document, froze midair. Then he opened it after a pause. When he saw Amelia Carter written in the signature field, his brows furrowed. Stop being ridiculous. He closed the agreement, annoyance in his voice. Do you have any idea how much a divorce would affect both our families? I know. I looked him in the eye. So please take responsibility for what you've done. He was silent for a few seconds, then suddenly changed his tone, pulling an almost gentle smile. Then at least give me some time to arrange a few things. 3 days. In 3 days, I'll come to you personally and we'll finish the paperwork. I lowered my eyes, staring at his hand on the desk. The wedding ring on his ring finger was long gone. I didn't say yes or no. I picked up my bag and stood up. Before leaving, I glanced back at him. 3 days I'll be waiting. 3 days later, Liam's social media blew up. He posted a photo, red background, white shirts, he and Olivia each holding a marriage certificate, both smiling sweetly. The caption was one line. Thank you all for your blessings. Olivia and I will be happy together. Right after, a private message popped up from him. Amelia, you insisted on getting a lawyer for the divorce. I really went and got a marriage license with Olivia. I stared at the message, the screen's glow stinging my eyes. In the family group chat, relatives lined up to congratulate them, red envelopes dropping one after another, as lively as New Year's. Liam replied to each one, a smile on his face. He screenshotted the group chat and posted another update. Seeing everyone's blessings warms my heart. Likes poured in by the dozen. I sat in the taxi, the unsigned divorce agreement still beside me, and suddenly found it funny. He was using divorce as a bargaining chip and a marriage certificate as a weapon, thinking I'd cry and beg him to come back. Liam's phone suddenly rang. It was his father, his voice urgent. Liam, we have a problem. What happened? A news video went viral. Someone filmed the wedding hazing and posted it online. Now the whole internet is calling you a wife abuser, saying you deliberately tied her up and even whipped her. Our company stock dropped 7% at market open. Liam's smile froze. How is that abuse? It's a local custom tied overnight to drive away bad luck and lock in happiness. It's a good omen. Telling me that doesn't help. Public opinion sees it differently. His father's voice dropped to a whisper. I can't reach Amelia. We're holding a press conference to clear this up. Bring her here. Have her explain. It was just a custom, not abuse, and this whole thing blows over. Why should I back down? Liam gritted his teeth. Amelia must have leaked it. She's getting back at me because she's jealous I married Olivia. I don't care who leaked it. You need to find her right now and bring her to the press conference. Liam hung up, still trying to figure out how to reach me when his phone buzzed again. In the family group chat, I'd sent 2 messages. The first was a video. In it, I was tied to a telephone pole with hemp rope, and Liam said, drive away the bad luck so we can lock in our happiness. The second was an audio recording. Liam, after this lesson, Amelia won't target me anymore, right? We're literally brother and sister, but she acts like there's something between us. Liam's voice was gentle. Yeah, I'm sure Amelia will understand now that you're number 1 in my heart, and she's just second. The group went silent for 3 full minutes. No likes, no comments, no red envelopes. Liam's face went from red to white to green. He shot to his feet and tagged me in the group. Amelia, where are you? We need to meet. I replied instantly with an address. I looked at the message on my screen and slipped the divorce agreement into my bag. This time, I'd wait for him to come to me. In my apartment, Liam sat across from me, looking at me with that familiar, condescending smile. Amelia, you leaked the video, didn't you? Using this kind of tactic to apologize and make up after hiring a lawyer for a divorce. That's a new one on me. I leaned back on the couch, calm and composed. Your parents contacted mine about me going to a press conference. How did that turn into me using this to apologize and make up in your version? You made your own bed, now lie in it. He leaned forward, his gaze intense. You're coming with me to the press conference to clear this up. I glanced down at my phone. The screen showed his and Olivia's marriage certificate photo. I smiled. The photoshopping looks pretty real. Must have cost a fortune. What photoshopping? Liam frowned. Olivia specifically asked me to take wedding photos. We pasted them into the certificates ourselves. They're the real deal. How does that become photoshopped in your mouth? You're the one who divorced me, remember? He paused, then suddenly shifted his tone. softening his voice. Amelia, are you jealous? If you regret it, go back and apologize properly to Olivia and our parents. I looked up at him, but said nothing. After all, you liked me so much before. You left me because of Olivia, didn't you? He continued. As long as you come to the press conference and smooth this over, we can talk about the rest later. I stood up and grabbed my bag. I don't love you anymore. Liam's smile froze on his face. I'm not going to the press conference. Are you crazy? He stood up too, his voice rising. So you're going to end both families' relationships completely? Let both companies suffer? That's their problem. I turned around without looking back. It stopped being my problem a long time ago. Liam's roar echoed behind me, but I didn't stop. I pushed open the door. The sunlight outside was blinding. My phone buzzed. In the family group chat, Liam's father sent a message. Amelia, what is the meaning of this? Decades of friendship between our families, and you're destroying it like this? My phone rang again. This time it was Liam's mother. Her voice soft and conciliatory. Amelia, even if you don't care about Liam, think of your parents. Come back for the press conference. Smooth this over, and we'll still be family. I stood on the sidewalk and saw Liam coming out of the apartment building. Auntie, you talk about our family's friendship. When Liam tied me to a telephone pole, when he posted his marriage certificate with Olivia in the group chat, did he care about our family's friendship? Then the line went silent for a few seconds. Then Liam's father cut in with the authority of an elder. Amelia, we've always thought of you as our own daughter. Liam was foolish this time, but you can't let a moment of anger destroy both families' life's work. I laughed. If your own daughter were tied to a telephone pole, would you make her swallow her pride and go to some press conference? Liam's father was speechless. Aren't Liam and Olivia perfect for each other? Then let them have each other. From now on, don't invite me to any Hayes family celebrations. I looked up. Liam was glaring at me. He must have seen my second leak to the media, the recording of him and Olivia. Ignoring my protests, he dragged me to his car, shoved me into the passenger seat, and drove to the press conference. At the press conference, cameras and microphones were aimed at the stage. Liam's parents stood up front and said, "The video shows nothing more than a traditional custom, playful in nature. The media shouldn't read too much into it." Liam gripped my arm and dragged me into the venue, his voice low. "Amelia, you've had your revenge. Video sent, recording sent, stock price crashed. Are you satisfied now? When we go up there, you say the video and recording were just a prank we all planned in advance. Stabilize public opinion, and get the company through this." I said nothing as he dragged me into the venue. Flashbulbs exploded instantly. "Mr. Hayes, is the wedding hazing in the video real? Miss Carter, were you forced? Hayes Corporation stock has plummeted. Do you have any explanation?" Liam put a protective arm around me, putting on a caring act. "Everyone, please calm down. We'll explain everything on stage." Olivia was already on stage in a white dress, her eyes slightly red. Liam led me to center stage and handed me a microphone. In the audience, Liam's parents sat rigidly, their gazes like knives. My parents were there, too, sitting in a corner. My mother's eyes were red. My father stared at the ground in silence. Olivia stood beside me, her fingers gripping her skirt, her breathing slightly rapid. I raised the microphone. "These videos and recordings are all real." Liam's smile froze. His mother shot to her feet. His father's face turned livid. I set down the microphone, rolled up my sleeve, and revealed the purple bruise on my arm that hadn't fully faded. "These are rope marks from being tied to the telephone pole." Flashbulbs went off like crazy. I pulled out my phone, brought up a photo, and projected it onto the big screen. A medical injury assessment report with a bright red stamp dated yesterday. I've already been to the police station and filed an injury report. The room erupted. Reporters swarmed forward, microphones practically shoved in Liam's face. "Mr. Hayes, the evidence is right here. This completely contradicts what your parents said. Do you have any explanation?" Liam opened his mouth, his face deathly pale. The venue doors suddenly burst open. Several uniformed police officers walked in and headed straight for the stage. "Liam Hayes, Olivia Hayes, you're under suspicion of intentional assault." Please come with us. Olivia's face drained of color instantly. She screamed. I just didn't want to lose Liam. If I did this, he'd always love me. Liam whirled around and stared at me, his eyes full of disbelief. The moment I stepped off the stage, my parents were standing in front of me. My mother was already in tears. Her trembling hand reached for me, but stopped midair as if afraid of hurting me. Amelia. Mommy really didn't know. Her tears hit the floor with a faint sound. Finally, she placed her hand on my arm, gently tracing the purple rope marks, her fingers shaking violently. It's Mommy's fault. I pushed you into that fire pit. My throat tightened. I said nothing. My father stood behind her, silent as a mountain. He kept his head down for a long time, then finally looked up at me, his eyes red, his lips moving but no words coming out. But his eyes couldn't lie. It was guilt. I looked back at my father. He finally spoke, his voice as if forced out of his throat. Let's go home. The press conference descended into chaos. The officers were about to take Liam and Olivia away, when Liam suddenly broke free and rushed over to me. The panic had left his face, replaced by a twisted calm. He lowered his voice. Amelia, what do you get out of putting me in jail? Olivia suddenly dropped to her knees in front of me, tears streaming down her face. Amelia, are you taking personal revenge? Just because Liam and I got a marriage license, you have to hate me enough to send me to jail. You're just jealous. I looked down at her, and suddenly found it absurd. I opened my phone, pulled up the marriage certificate photo Olivia had posted on social media, and projected it onto the big screen behind me. Olivia, if you're going to Photoshop, at least do it professionally. Marriage certificates have embossed seals. Yours has nothing. The marriage certificate on the big screen was magnified several times. The area where the embossed seal should be was completely blank. The room exploded. Fake. The marriage certificate is photoshopped. So did she and Liam actually get married or not? This woman is shameless. Photoshopping a marriage certificate to flex. And she's the Hayes family's adopted daughter. The adopted sister has her eyes on the real sister-in-law's husband. Flashbulbs focused on Olivia's face as she knelt on the ground, screaming. You're just jealous of me. Liam pulled her up from the ground. He paused. Then a bizarre laugh crept into his voice. At the end of the day, I'm still your husband. You can't have your own husband arrested. He just glanced sideways at the officer beside him. The officer understood and stepped forward. Mr. Hayes, please cooperate with our investigation. Liam's face finally darkened completely. Liam's parents finally broke through their assistance and stumbled over to me. His mother grabbed my hand, her voice shrill. Amelia, how could you have your own husband arrested? And Olivia too. Where does that leave the Hayes family's face? Liam's father stepped forward too, managing to keep his composure. Amelia, let them go first. We can settle this privately. The Hayes family won't treat you badly. Before I could speak, a hand suddenly reached over and pulled Liam's mother's hand off my arm. It was my father. He stood in front of me. Looking at his back, I suddenly remembered when I was little, he'd stood in front of me just like this. My father looked at Liam's parents. His voice wasn't loud, but every word was clear. Your son has humiliated my daughter like this, and you're still saying these things. The business partnership between the Carter and Hayes families ends here. Liam's father froze. Carter, what are you saying? I said. My father raised a hand and pushed Liam's father back a step. Over. My mother stepped forward, too, linking her arm through mine. Her eyes still red, but her voice firmer than ever. Let's go. She pulled me and turned toward the exit. The media swarmed, shutter sounds crashing like waves. Behind me, a reporter was already on the phone with their newsroom, voice urgent. Breaking news. Carter Corporation announces the formal end of its business partnership with Hayes Corporation. All joint projects halted immediately. I looked back one last time. Liam and Olivia were being led out by the police. Olivia's cries still echoing in the hallway. Liam's mother collapsed into a chair. His father held a phone, his face deathly pale as he listened to the voice on the other end. The stock had dropped again. 1 month later, the verdict for Liam and Olivia came down. Convicted of intentional assault. Liam was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Olivia received 1 year and 6 months, suspended for 2 years. The day the verdict was announced, I had my company's PR department issue a final statement clarifying all the facts, attaching a scanned copy of the judgment, and thanking the judiciary for its fair ruling. Public opinion finally died down. Before that, Hayes Corporation had been trending for over a month, from stock crashes to supplier debt collection, from bank loan recalls to employee collective protests. The night the news broke, I went back to my parents' house. My mother had been busy in the kitchen all afternoon, making my favorite pork rib soup from childhood. My father sat on the living room couch, tea on the coffee table, cooled, refilled, cooled again. When I walked in, my mother put down her ladle, her eyes reening first. "Amelia." She walked over and hugged me carefully. My father stood up too, looked at me, his lips moving, and finally said, "Sit down." I sat down. My mother sat beside me and held my hand, her fingertips trembling slightly. She opened her mouth several times before the words came out. "I always told you to be patient. Said every couple has fights. Told you to be more tolerant of him. It was Mommy's fault. I shouldn't have let you suffer all that. Tomorrow I'll have the doctor come to the house and give you a full checkup." "Okay." I shook my head. "The injuries are fine. They've healed." I paused and looked at my father. But ending the partnership with Hayes Corporation, the company took a big loss. How are we handling that? The wrinkles on my father's face seemed deeper under the lamplight, but his voice was steady. "It's fine. Hayes Corporation is done. They're not the only player in the market. We're handling it. What if we acquire Hayes Corporation?" My father looked up at me. "Hayes is near bankruptcy. If we acquire them, the joint projects can continue naturally. With Carter Corporation's assets, swallowing Hayes would be difficult but not impossible." My father was silent for a long time. So long that my mother grew restless, about to step in and smooth things over. Finally, he sat down his teacup and said, "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." He nodded and said nothing more. 3 months later, Hayes Corporation officially declared bankruptcy. Carter Corporation acquired over half of Hayes's core assets and project channels at 30% below market value. The joint projects rose from Hayes's ruins, fully taken over by Carter and running as usual, and Carter Corporation claimed the top spot in the city's business landscape. As the sole heir of Carter Corporation, I was unanimously approved at the shareholders' meeting and officially took over as CEO. That day, I wore a dark gray suit and stood by the conference room's floor-to-ceiling windows, looking down at the city's dusk. "Miss Carter." I repeated the title silently. I didn't smile. I just thought, this title sounds so much better than Mrs. Hayes. That evening, I drove my newly delivered sports car out of the company along the city's busiest road heading toward the west side. Waiting at a red light, I saw a figure in a blue delivery uniform on the bike lane, bending down to take food boxes out of a scooter's trunk. It took me a while to recognize the face. Liam. He'd lost a lot of weight, his cheekbones jutting out. His delivery uniform was wrinkled and stained with grease. Beside him, another delivery worker was squatting on the curb smoking. It was Olivia. Olivia recognized me first. In her crumpled delivery uniform, she took off her helmet, her hair plastered to her forehead, her eyes full of disbelief and jealousy. She looked me up and down in my tailored suit, her voice sour. Well, divorce agrees with you, huh? Who's keeping you?" I looked at the disheveled Olivia from my car and said calmly, "The Hayes family is gone. If you still can't learn to speak properly, shut up." Her face went white, her lips trembling, unable to utter a word. Olivia's phone pinged with a delivery order. She huffed and left reluctantly. I turned and got back in my car without looking back. Behind me, Olivia's furious curses echoed, but none of it mattered to me anymore. I heard that after Hayes Corporation went bankrupt, Liam's parents took what was left and moved away, never bothering with their son again. And Olivia was naturally disowned, too. Liam must have seen me in the sports car. He looked up. He froze for a moment, then recognized me. He sat down the food box he was holding and took 2 steps toward me, his lips dry, his voice. "Amelia." I sat in the car, engine still running. "I'm sorry." He lowered his head, his voice as if forced from his throat. "I shouldn't have treated you like that. I regret it. I really do. Amelia, can you give me one more chance? I looked at him. A long time ago, I probably would have softened. I would have remembered the days we'd spent together. Remembered when he was 18, handing me an umbrella in the rain with that clean smile. But that was all a long time ago. I rolled down the window, looked him in the eye, and said, I gave you so many chances. Liam, how did you treat me? He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. You're not regretful. You just think life is hard and being with me would change your fate. I paused, my voice light as a falling feather, yet calmer than ever. And I think you're not good enough. I rolled up the window and pressed the gas. The sports car roared out of the intersection, merging into the evening rush hour traffic, quickly disappearing into the sunset. In the rearview mirror, Liam's figure grew smaller and smaller, finally becoming a dot swallowed by the city's endless lights, never appearing in my sight again. After that day, I never saw him again. Hey there, could you rate this story in the comments? Use a scale of 1 to 10, please. I'm begging you. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit follow.